Good morning, it's Kyle Koberline, a truck and RV sales professional at Bluegrass International Trucks, Buses, RVs, and Ideal Lease. I've got a 2022 Verona LE 40 LTS that's being delivered today to a customer, but I wanted to get a walk around video and go through the unit and try to make this one a little quicker. I always say I'll make them quick and then they end up being an hour long. But I get feedback from customers or other people that are looking at Renegades. They really appreciate the detail that I go into just with the limited amount of inventory that's available to go look at on a lot. So I try to cover as much as I can. I don't have a ton of time today before the customer gets here, so I'm going to make this one a little bit quicker. And once again, people are always welcome to reach out to me if they have any questions or want to explore options when it comes to the Renegade product. Like I said, this is a 2022 Renegade Verona 40 LTS. The exterior color is an anthracite. I've got the slides and the awning and everything out. We'll do a quick walk around just to show the coach with all the bays and stuff closed up. Your exterior TV. The rear cap. Nice thing on the Verona LE, or all the Renegade products, is the bottom rear bumper is a separate piece. So if you got rear-ended and damaged that, it's a much easier fix than replacing an entire rear cap. That's your exhaust pipe down there for the generator. Dryer vent on the wall there. Main engine exhaust and aqua hot exhaust. This is on the Freightliner M2 chassis. So you've got the straddled 50-gallon fuel tanks on the driver and passenger side. On the driver's side, you've got the block heater plug, one of your 50 tank fills, and your fill for your DEF. You can see the side view cameras right here on the fenders. We'll go down along the camp side of the coach. In the front bay here, you've got your AquaHot 450 system that is dual zone heating in the coach. It does have engine preheat for your main chassis engine if you're traveling in cold climates. And of course, that's your instant hot water as well for the coach. Runs off electric and diesel. A storage bay. That's your air line if you want to inflate your tires off the air chuck that is fed from the air tanks on the chassis and the compressor on the motor. A storage bay here. On some of the newer coaches in the last year or so, they've added where the box actually goes underneath the rail to give you a little bit deeper storage for stuff like tables and chairs. We've got an exterior TV with a sound bar. Back here behind the rear tires on the campsite, we have an exterior refrigerator and freezer. We have storage in the rearmost bay. We've also got our central vac system. The blue bag is the central vac hoses and stuff. And then this unit has porcelain tile inside. And of course, those are your slide locks right here. They also supply extra tile. They use porcelain tile, which is a lot harder than ceramic, so it's really durable. But you drop a heavy stainless steel pan, it'll still crack a tile. So you've got spare tiles in case you need them. 20,000 pound hitch. I'm here on the service side of the coach. In the rear bay, you've got your 50 amp shore cord, which is on an electric retract reel. You've got your automatic transfer switch, which has surge guard. Talking to the customer yesterday, you don't need any additional surge protection to protect the coach and its appliances. But they were talking about, the people on like Facebook and stuff are talking about how, they like to have an additional surge guard at the post still, because if there is a surge, that it protects the surge protector on the coach. So that, because apparently that's not a cheap replacement, and you can get a surge guard for the post for $200-300. Not necessary for the coach, but just kind of sharing what I hear. 8,000 watt quiet diesel generator, Cummins. On the LEs, you've got dock lights. Our dealership, we actually do and can install those for customers on Verona and other products if you'd like them in our shop. Your service bay, which has got your whole house water filter, your black dump, gray dump, your black tank flush, your cable input, if you got cable access at an RV park or campground, your lever to switch from tank fill or city water, a spigot and a low point drain, and then you've got your electric hose reel. Your freshwater hose is tucked back in here, so you can pull that out. Electric grill, like I said. And then you got your 75 gallon gray and black tank. They're separate tanks. They're fed through one port. You've got a screw out here, so before you take that off, if there's any of the residue to drip down, it drips on the ground and not inside your coach. And then you've got another port here that comes out to run your hose out. Really nice that the tanks on the Renegades are enclosed inside of the boxes. If you're in colder climates or road debris, it's protected from road debris, or if you're in colder climates, the wind chill factor, so because they are pad heated, so by some chance, just a lot easier to keep them from freezing and to keep them protected being enclosed in the box. You've got a storage bay here. They've now gone to the Victron inverters and charging systems. I think a lot of people are excited about that. It's a well-known product. One thing to note in here is, don't stack any blankets or towels or anything that would be able to, would keep that charger and inverter from breathing, because it's going to put off quite a bit of heat, especially when it's in charging mode. So I definitely recommend, this is a place where you can put totes or toolboxes and stuff, so air can still circulate. You got a vent back there in that corner. And then up here in the bay right behind the driver's door, you've got your chassis batteries on the left over here, and then these big Group 8s are your AGM batteries for the coach to power all your appliances, 12-volt system. And then right up here at the top, you can see here's that air chuck if you want to run off the air on the coach to inflate tires, pull toys and inflatables and that kind of stuff. Not going to run an impact or anything like that, but at least inflating tires and stuff when you're on the go. One thing I want to mention is that the Verona and the Verona LE do come with Freightliner Safety Assurance Package, which is collision mitigation and adaptive cruise control and lane departure. That in the front there is a radar. That up there in a windshield. The early system up there in the windshield is the camera. So the early systems just had radar, which when that all started kind of coming about, I got a good buddy of mine swears by his, radar detector everywhere he goes. Man, my radar detector goes off all the time now when I'm driving down the highway. I've noticed that in the last year. I said, yeah, because all these semi trucks have got radars on the front, and your radar detector's picking it up. And that's only getting more and more common. There was some minor glitch issues with just having the radar and it reading correctly sometimes. I mean, rare. So they added an additional camera feature to implement the two technologies together, and it's super accurate today. The last thing I'll do real quick is I'm going to talk about the differences between a Verona and a Verona LE real fast. So on the Verona LE, you've got this filler panel in the wheel well. It gives it a little bit more finish versus having this wider gap like you see on a Verona. You've got chrome accented door handles. All your storage bays are on a remote key fob, so you can lock all your doors and unlock all your doors at the same time. Of course, on the Verona LE, you've got opposing slides, so you've got a slide on the campsite and the service side that oppose each other for more space inside for living. At the top, you have a roof-mounted awning. Just looks cleaner when you're traveling down the road. You've got dock lights on a Verona LE. Of course, the AquaHot 450 system on an LE versus the 250 system on a Verona. My customer's gonna be here anytime, so I'm trying to get through this. So if I miss something, just put it in the comments or notes, but I should be covering most of the stuff as far as the difference between a Verona and a Verona LE. It used to be Verona LE had dual pane windows and Verona did not, but Verona now has dual pane windows as well. So the thing that really makes Renegade stand apart, I mean, this is a nice coach, it's beautiful, but really what makes Renegade stand apart from the competition or other products that are built similar on Super C or even the exact same M2 chassis is the structure of the box. So I'm standing on a 9-inch floor. The wall is vacuum bonded, aluminum tube structure, closed cell foam insulation. The ceiling's built the same way. Now there's other manufacturers out there, don't want to name any names, that they may say and do build the same wall structure. So aluminum tube structure, vacuum bonded, fiberglass exterior, Asdel interior. But if you look at the materials they're using, so you look at the fiberglass that another brand is using, it's rolled. It's a rolled sheet of fiberglass. Well, you go look at the sheets of fiberglass that Renegade is using, it's thicker than a quarter. It's like more of a sheet of a plywood than something that's paper thin on a roll. And I'll walk out here and I'll show you guys kind of what I'm talking about on that floor. So anytime you're looking at any motorhome, if you stand at the coach door and look up underneath the storage box to see where the bottom of the floor is, then you of course can see the top of the floor inside of the coach. Well, the Renegade floor bottom is right here. Get my finger there, right there. The top of the floor is way up here, it's 9 inches. So the wall itself, which is 2 inches thick, is bolted and screwed and glued all to the side of that floor, but then it's also sitting on a steel channel that comes out. So the wall is not only supported from the side to side movement like this of driving down the road, it's also supported like this. Most RV manufacturers only support their wall by either sitting it on top of the floor or bolting it to the side of the floor. Renegade supports it in both directions. So 3-inch channel steel stacked 2x floors, 3/4 inch plywood porcelain tile floor, and then the insulation of the floor is actually a wool material, so it has a high sound deadening quality when you're driving the coach. I'm on the outside of the coach walking in here. This is a simple feature, but absolutely love it. You have shoe storage underneath your steps. I travel in a coach myself, and I'm always like, where do I get my shoes to get them out of the way, not track dirt and sand all through my coach. So you can easily stash your shoes right up underneath the steps. So that's super handy. Here on the right hand side, you've got your battery disconnect, your step override, your easy start to connect your coach and house powers together in case one of your battery systems is dead. That way you can tie them together and either jump start the generator or the main chassis. That's your Victron controller down there, to your control panel. That's part of your multiplex wiring system. The Firefly system that controls all the systems throughout the coach, your slides, your lights, you name it. Leveling system, it controls it all. HVAC system, fans, your TV lift. While I'm inside the coach here real quick, what I like to point out is that all the Renegade product is extremely usable in transit while all the slides are closed up, even with the opposing slides. So you can see that if I have to stop at Walmart or a Cracker Barrel or a rest stop for the night, just to get some rest, maybe on a longer trip, you don't have to open up your whole coach to be able to move through it, get to the bathroom and all that kind of stuff. So I'm not turning sideways or anything. I'm just walking, straight back through the coach. I can get to my sink and my vanity, my shower, my toilet, my bed. So I can get to everywhere in the coach without even opening it up at all. You've got touch panels throughout the coach, and where it's multiplex, you can control multiple functions from several places. So say if you left a light on in the front, up there underneath the bed, there's going to be a switch that's for all off, and it'll turn every light off in the coach. And then of course there's an app you can put on your phone as well and mirrors all those same functions. So you literally can stand outside your coach and run your slides in and out. We'll take a quick peek here at the Firefly system just to give everybody an idea. So this is the home screen. It's got your master light. It's got you got temperature sensors throughout the coach. So you got a front, rear, and a bay down there where you got water in the coach, for your hookups for your water. And then you got aqua-hot electric, aqua-hot burner, so using diesel, and then engine preheat for the aqua-hot to preheat your main engine using the aqua-hot system. Fresh water level, gray tank level, black tank level, water pump on and off, tank heaters, house voltage on the batteries, chassis voltage, generator start and stop, and then enable your auto gen start. And then if we go into the light controls, you've got front lighting, rear lighting, exterior lighting. All the ones that have little arrows up and down are dimmable. This is your electrical. Your power source right now, I'm hooked up to a 50 amp Shore in our showroom. It shows your two lines coming in, 124 volts, 124, kind of fluctuating, 123, 124. I have no amps being pulled right now, which probably means battery systems and stuff are all fully charged. Generator start and stop. And it kind of shows you what's going on. Like here's your lines coming in, the amps are being drawn, transfer switch, breaker box, and then you've got, of course, your generator, AGS enables, again, AGS settings, which I'll go into here in a second. If you ever use a dog bone, like to hook to a 30 amp or a 15 amp, if you go to a 30 amp, the coach is automatically going to assume it's a 15 amp because it can't tell the difference. If it's a 30 amp, you got to click this and manually change it to a 30 amp. In your AGS, AGS, if it's enabled so that it does work, then there's two things that can trigger the generator to automatically fire up. That's a low voltage trigger and HVAC trigger. HVAC's based on however you got your HVAC set up. So if you have your HVAC set at 70 degrees and it gets to 80, generator will kick on. Well, it won't take to 80, but when the temperature gets above 70, the generator kicks on. HVACs will come on and cool the coach down. So if you got your furry friends inside, they're not getting hot while you're gone for a hike or out doing stuff, riding motorcycle. Set your quiet, your quiet hours. So if you're somewhere like Yosemite or I know Yellowstone for sure is like quiet time is from 8 p.m. to 8 a.m. where you can't run a generator. Here's your start voltage for when the generator fires up for low battery. Of course, minimum runtime, maximum runtime, the number of times the generator will try to start. It has that feature because it does not know how much fuel is in the tank. So if it's below a quarter tank, roughly, generator can't start. And we'll go on to HVAC. So here is your front and rear. The aqua hot is dual zone. So there's aqua hot in the front, aqua hot in the rear. Oops, I won't turn on right now, I'm inside. But aqua hot in the front, aqua hot in the rear. Here's your fan speeds, your auto, cool, heat pump, which I honestly don't recommend using the heat pump. If it's cold, I just would use your aqua hot. It's a much quieter, much more efficient system. So you set your system, keep pushing buttons. Set your system, set your fan speeds, front and rear. Of course, your bay, you can set the heat system for the bay so that nothing in there freezes. And then your vent fan in the bathroom, you can turn it on and off and change its speed as well. You've got slide controls, so kitchen slide, bed slide, your leveling system is in here as well. Of course, living room slide awning. See, it says unlocked. Customer will call me and, man, my slides won't go out. It says your key in the ignition. Oh yeah. Yeah, you can't have your key in the ignition. You won't be able to operate your slides because it locks everything up when you got your key in the ignition. And then in the settings, really the only thing you want to make sure is correct here is obviously your clock, because if you got quiet time set for auto gen start, you want that to be accurate and not fire up in the middle of the night and not fire up in the middle of the day. And then the other function here is the mobile app. You can scan your QR code. Here's the information for your Vega Touch app so that you can control your coach. It takes 2 minutes to set up. Once again, people have questions about this stuff in greater detail, feel free to reach out to me. I'm up here in the cab. I don't have time to really go over all the dash stuff as far as lights and stuff. I got other videos that cover that, or reach out to me if you have questions. But the Verona LE have a Cummins L9, which is 360 horsepower, 1150 foot-pounds of torque, Allison 3000 motorhome series transmission. On Verona and Verona LE, transmission programming is standard in performance mode. So if you hit the mode button and it says mode in your display, it actually puts it in economy mode, which drops the bumps the shift point up. Bumps the shift point down 200 RPM. Because the goal to economy is to get into top gear and hold top gear as long as possible. By holding the RPM longer before shifting, you create more horsepower, and you feel that on the performance side. But obviously you burn a little more fuel. I had a good friend of mine drive a coach. He delivers coaches for me. He's retired from the Fayette County school system. And I said, dude, drive a whole tank, on your way to Texas to drop off this RV, this Renegade. in economy mode and drive an entire tank in performance mode, and he came up with about a 2/10 per mile difference. So I'd leave it in performance if it was me. But you got all your switches up here. You now have an ability to dump the rear air suspension before you level. Of course, that's your trailer brake adjustment if you're towing a trailer. That's part of your collision mitigation system. The Garmin unit for navigation and music and entertainment is detachable. The person in the passenger seat can hold on to it and use it. Up here in the cabinet above the driver, you've got your controls for your equalizer system for your levels, but you can also do that from the Firefly system. Here's your wind guard system for over-the-air antenna for TV, and then powering the Wi-Fi 2.0 system on the roof for internet. Got storage up here. A little more storage. In the 40 LTS, the TV's on a lift. So super nice not to always have to look at a TV. That way if you're not using it, you can put it down, and it's just different. I like it when you don't have to look at a TV all the time. Of course, Corian countertops, all hardwood cabinetry. One of the differences between a Verona and Verona LE is they're both hardwood cabinetry, but the drawers on an LE are dovetail construction. You can see along the side and the quality of the drawers. You've got a convection microwave, so it works as an oven and a microwave. You got true induction cooktop that does require special pots and pans. This unit was ordered with the theater seating. And then you've got a couch that pulls out over here on the 40 LTS. You got your entertainment center down here where you'd put your satellite box. There's a Blu-ray player in there from Renegade. Or if you had any gaming systems or your Roku sticks or Amazon or Apple TV. And then you've got a dinette. On the dinette, I recently learned with a customer, because I always had a struggle pushing these down to make them into a bed, because this makes about a 3-foot by 5-foot bed. So obviously smaller children or an uncle that you want to get back for something, and then 6'4". But if you push down in the middle of the table, when you unlock the lever underneath, the table slides down a lot easier than trying to push it from the edge. Storage underneath the cabinet. Got a pantry right here next to your kitchen sink. Here's your electrical stuff. On your panels down here, if you look at them, everything on this panel, which has got like the AC and the dryer and stuff that requires kind of a little more electricity, that runs off of your shore power or your generator. Whereas everything down in the bottom panel can run off not only the shore power and the generator, but also is fed by your inverter. So that's an easy way to know what your inverter will run, is by looking at the control panel that has all the inverter stuff on it. I mean, the far left breaker is for the inverter. So this is your Firefly system. This is what the main control panel communicates to. You can see what's lit up. For diagnostic purposes, for those who are a little savvy and like kind of doing some stuff of their own, let's say your water pump doesn't work. Well, you can unscrew this panel and pop it off, and then on the back there will be a 12-volt lead labeled water pump. It's right here at number 36. So, and there's breakers on here as well. But you can pull that off and put like a test light, or really a multimeter would be the better way to go. And you can hit your water pump switch. So say it's lighting up water pump switch on your Firefly system and your water pump's not coming on. You can put a meter on the back of this, and you can distinguish whether it's on the Firefly side or something between the wiring and the water pump. So you can kind of just figure out where you need to diagnose and repair. Now, you shouldn't have a lot of issues. We do a great job of diagnosing all these things ourselves and making sure that quality control before you take delivery of a brand new unit. But these things are complicated. Water pumps, And reality can fail down the road. I mean, and it's just stuff that's part of owning an RV. I'm not, I don't want to paint this picture that there's not any responsibility with owning an RV, but it's good to know the little things that make that life a little easier for people. Of course, you've got a residential refrigerator. So any standard residential refrigerator will go in there. If you ever had an issue with it down the road, you can call the same repairman that comes to your house to repair your fridge. Versus, the propane fridges are a lot harder to get worked on, and they have more systems in the back of them, so it takes up more space in that fridge, so you lose storage capacity. You've got a deep storage up here at the top. Going back towards the bathroom, you got a macerator toilet. Everything in that toilet, so anything that goes in the toilet is actually ground down to a fine pulp, normal waste, not Hot Wheels and Legos, but normal waste, and then is pumped through a hose not much larger than like a water hose to your black tank. So that's why we have no issues with odor. It's just not a big pipe dropping into a big black tank. And then because it is ground down to a fine pulp before it gets to that tank, the bacteria that you put into your black tank and stuff helps break it down even that much easier. It's a lot easier to manage that tank and keep it clean and not having a lot of buildup. You do have the ability to flush in 2 modes, eco or normal, more or less number 1 and number 2. And of course, you can empty the tank as well. Renegade, a few years ago, started putting an access port at the bottom of the shower. That's one of those things that once a year I'd have inspected to make sure that you don't have any water leaks that develop from, if you're driving down the road, you're going to hit potholes probably, and you might run across a washboarded road from time to time. So it's good to inspect all that stuff to make sure you don't have any leaks or issues once a year. Having your roof looked at and all that kind of stuff. Stuff I go over in great detail, if you ever do a walk around or delivery with me. Of course, your shower. They use that bar so you can adjust the height of the shower head, which is super nice. You got a TV in the bedroom above the window, emergency exit down below that. Your entertainment center down here for that TV, which has got HDMI feeds to that TV for your Blu-ray player, satellite box, and whatnot. Got tons of closet space. I always say I'm going to make these videos short, and it never happens. So I hope people appreciate some of the longer ones that go into greater detail. I had a guy message me on YouTube, I think yesterday, and said that he really appreciated the amount of detail that I go into, because some of these videos, I got videos that are an hour long. You got washer and dryer stack. Washer and dryer prep is standard, so if you decided not to order washer and dryer, you can still get it. You can still buy a washer and dryer and have them put in. All the accommodations are still there. Not going to do any big loads of blue jeans or massive loads of towels, but you can wash a few towels, some tidy whities, some t-shirts. Very handy for stuff like socks and t-shirts and underwear. Just when you're traveling and just don't want to have to go to a laundromat or you're gone for longer periods of time. We'll look under the bed real quick. One, you can see one of the AquaHot systems. Oh, got my microphone cord hanging in the picture there. You can see one of the AquaHot systems there where the hot coolant cycles through it, and then those fans push that air across the radiator and blow the hot air out into the coach. You got 150 gallons of freshwater storage, which is broke up into 2 75-gallon tanks, which are roll-molded, so there's no seams to split or crack really easy. There's your water pump. Your main tank dump down there if you want to dump your... I can't get my camera to get... I'm using a gimbal camera, so sometimes it has a mind of its own. And then that clear hose, that's what you can stick down into a bucket of antifreeze, and you can winterize your unit from inside the coach. Just a little bypass valve you have to turn so that the water pump pulls from the antifreeze bucket and not the freshwater tanks. And then you've got a bar up here to prop this open. Once again, my name is Kyle Coberline. I'm a sales professional at Bluegrass International Trucks, Buses, RVs, and Ideal Lease. like I say in a lot of my videos, what I tell people on the phone, my goal is not to sell you an RV or truck today. You know, our goal is I want to help you through that process and making the decisions and doing the research and figuring out what's going to work best for you. Like where you plan to travel, where you want to go, what your dream is, or, you know, in the commercial truck world, you know, what kind of product you're trying to move, what business type you're running. You know, is it trucks? Is it you know, something? Are you a trucking business, or you just need to move the product that, you know, to furniture company or something of that nature? So it's, you know, helping through the process and providing customer service over just trying to do a quick sale. So people are always welcome to reach out to me anytime, and I'm happy to help however I can.